Go hike, go shoot, make video. We had two giant storms just roll through the area in the last 6 hours. There's some pretty epic looking clouds left over from it that are floating out over the bay. Finally off of work. I need to get out, get some fresh air, and I'm hoping that all these clouds that are left over from the two storms that came by are going to float over the bay and make for some interesting pictures. If it doesn't, at this point I don't really care. I'm just chomping at the bit to get outside. So get out my way. I have the longest day. It's been a little bit rough, but with a little bit of love, I'm gonna find my way. I have the longest day. All right, so I might luck out. Sun's starting to peek out through the clouds in there in that area. I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this damp and eventual mosquitoes that are starting to come out. So I'll give it a little bit of time. I got a neat shot of the skyline with the green elevators. I'm gonna probably put my telephoto on and see if I can get a nice shot of the boats in the background behind the grain elevators, Pie Island in the distance. And I can see some sun rays coming through the clouds just over the sleeping giant. So I'll try and get a shot of that. And yeah, I might get stuck with too many clouds. But cross my fingers and see if I get something. It's nothing fancy. Just gonna do a vertical panoramic sweep across the horizon here. We got some pretty cool clouds. Maybe we'll get some sun coming through, a little bit of mist out in the bay. Biggest takeaway that I've had in the last month or two is I got away from shooting manual. I found I was messing around too much, trying to dial in the settings too much, and wasting time and energy. I know I can shoot in manual. I've resigned myself to using manual when I'm shooting extremely challenging situations like astrophotography or low light situations where you got to really dial in your settings. Lately I've been shooting Aperture Priority and I'm a lot happier for it. I don't know why it took me so long to discover using this. I don't know if I was thinking it was a crutch and it was kind of cheating, but I'm really pleased with the way my images have been coming out lately just shooting in Aperture Priority. So essentially what that is just choosing the f-stop that you want to shoot at. So if I'm doing close-up stuff, I'll use like a really wide open 3.5 on this lens, or more shallow if I have like one of my faster lenses on. But if I'm just doing landscape shots, I'll just fire it into like f8, f11 range, just trying to get a bulk of everything that I want in focus. And I've been finding that my exposures are pretty much bang on now when I shoot with Aperture Priority. I might have to mess with the exposure compensation, just maybe knock it down half a stop or two, just to get the highlights not being blown out. But that's the main takeaway if you're watching this. is just flip that dial to A if you're on a Nikon. I can't remember what it is on a Canon. But whatever your aperture priority mode is, just do that. Save yourself the effort and the hassle of dialing in your ISO and dialing in your shutter speed, etc, etc, etc. Just throw it into aperture priority, and I'm sure you'll be pleased with the results that you get. The other tip I want to pass along is when you're doing a panoramic shot, I find it best to go in manual focus mode and actually use the ring to focus in on what you're doing, because chances are when you're doing this action here and you're panning around, because the shutter button also wants to act as a focus button, sometimes it'll change a little bit your depth of field, and it can make it a bit tricky or a complete waste when you try and stitch these together later in your photo editor of choice. So you just use the ring in the front, get it to where you want, get it nice and focused. I'm trying to pick out the birch bark on the trees below. I think that's what'll stand out the most in this picture. And then just start shooting your shots one at a time, all the way across your horizon. I don't know, 5 shots, maybe 6. A little bit of coverage doesn't hurt, especially when if your horizon isn't quite level and you straighten it out later, you want a little bit of leeway on either side. So the light's really starting to take off here. And the most amazing discovery, this battery. I've been looking for this battery for over a month. I lost it, or at least I thought I did, around Father's Day, and I completely ripped this bag apart, seam by seam, and all of a sudden, boom, there it is. I'm so shocked that that's in here. It's like a magic little Nikon fairy just popped it back in here when I wasn't looking. Well, I hope you got something out of this. The mosquitoes are definitely getting something out of this. They're bleeding me dry, so I gotta get out of here. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. And stay tuned for the next one. Until then, I'll see you later.